Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here. With Donald Trump returning back to the White House, the focus on his foreign policy picks has been intense. In terms of economic policies, Trump has been a very clear proponent of protectionism, as he promises to slap steep tariffs on virtually anything. In his latest statement, Donald Trump effectively threatened all countries of the BRICS plus bloc with 100% tariffs if they dare to pursue their own economic sovereignty and if they dare to continue to shift towards currency multipolarity. Here's the post by Donald Trump issuing a warning, let's put it that way, to BRICS. It reads, "The idea the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar, or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. They can go find another sucker," he said. "There's no chance that the BRICS will replace the US dollar in international trade, and any country that tries should wave goodbye to America." Trump's planned use of tariffs to try to bolster U.S. manufacturing on the one hand and then reduce the trade deficits possibly on the other would likely lessen the global role of the U.S. dollar, not increase it. It's quite clear. His message is actually, it serves as an encouragement to the global South to accelerate their development of an alternative financial system. And I'm sure that the countries of the BRICS bloc will likely take this very, very seriously, and they will act according to their best interests. Additionally, there is a very small problem with slapping 100% tariffs on the imports of goods from, let's just say, China. American consumers will be hit so hard by price increases that the ones who will suffer the most, it won't be the BRICS countries, but an average American who's already struggling to make ends meet. The U.S. manufacturing sector is very small and it cannot satisfy U.S. demand. International trade benefits Americans, it always has, while such drastic measures as Trump appears to be pushing for would cut off supply routes that cannot be easily restored and replaced. Some people may argue that such extreme case will bring production home, and that is the phrase that I hear most often. However, due to government regulations, due to high labor costs here in the United States and lack of modern, efficient manufacturing facilities that are able to produce the same goods in a cost-effective manner, the U.S. will not be able to replace Chinese or other countries' goods in the near term. It's not possible. It's simply not possible without heavy investments in infrastructure and creating incentives for domestic producers to invest in the private sector, in the manufacturing. And that, as we know, has not been a priority to any administration, regardless of whether you are a Democrat or a Republican. We send money overseas to fight foreign wars on foreign soil, but we don't really invest in our country here at home. And that approach transcends party lines, unfortunately. My take is that any member of the BRICS bloc, after reading President Trump's post, will do one thing. They will double down on their efforts to create a just global architecture where they transact in the currencies that benefit them and help them develop South-South cooperation, help them boost trade, boost foreign direct investments into their emerging economies, which is absolutely vital for them, without using the US dollar, which, as Donald Trump just indicated, will continue to be a weapon of US foreign policy, a weapon that backfires, as many, but apparently not all, have already learned. Another issue that I have with this particular idea to slap 100% tariffs on the BRICS nations is that they were not the ones who initiated the move away from the US dollar in the first place. They reacted as you would expect them to, because they needed to protect their own interests. So they reacted to the weaponization of the global reserve currency. After all, similarly to the United States, nations must act in their best interest. They must pursue their interests, and that is precisely what the Global South is doing. Recently, Russian President Putin clearly said that it was not Russia's choice to switch to alternative currencies. He said Russia did not oppose the US dollar, but it was barred from using it, which we know is completely true. And to protect its own interests, it was put in a position to look for alternatives. When a country is cut off from the global banking system, he said, it will find ways around it. Take a look.
Спасибо, уважаемая госпожа Русов. Вы сказали, что доллар используется в качестве оружия. Да, действительно, мы видим это так. На самом деле, думаю, что это большая ошибка тех, кто это делает, потому что использование доллара, а он является до сих пор важнейшим инструментом в мировых финансах, как средство достижения политических целей, подрывает доверие к этой валюте и снижает его возможности. Но не мы же это делаем, это делают другие люди. Мы не отказываемся, не боремся с долларом. Но если нам не дают с ним работать, что же делать? Мы тогда вынуждены искать другие альтернативы, что и происходит.
The third point to understand here is that the BRICS doesn't advocate for the collapse of the US dollar. That is a false narrative. The BRICS stands for equal economic opportunity and development. Currency multipolarity is the term to be used here in this context. Currency multipolarity does imply that the US dollar will still be used. However, other currencies would be given priority for cross-border trade. For example, why would China, let's say, and Russia settle trade in US dollars instead of yuan or rubles? There's absolutely no reason for these or any other countries to incur more expenses, such as foreign exchange fees, just to prop up the currency of the country that hasn't even been friendly to them in the first place. The BRICS Plus bloc has already achieved quite extensive level of success to make the first steps towards creating the foundation for an alternative financial platform. And even though Western leaders continue to dismiss it, they continue to dismiss the alternative financial system and the efforts that have been made by the BRICS bloc. And now, of course, they quite openly ridiculed them, but they can no longer deny that it poses a tremendous threat to the already waning and disappearing US hegemony. And that fear is precisely why some individuals resort to the same old approach of trying to bully foreign countries, try to bully foreign nations into submission. It is not patriotism, it is a limited and outdated worldview that assumes the world is still in its unipolar mode, and we, the United States, can easily manipulate other countries even when it comes to their vital interests. The truth is, however, the times are changing. So what can the US do to delay de-dollarization? I would imagine that the number one thing would be to completely abandon and reverse the use of economic and financial sanctions on foreign states. That is the first order of business to make the US dollar more appealing and safe. Lift sanctions, stop weaponizing the biggest asset that you have, the US dollar as a global reserve currency, and unfreeze sovereign funds of Russia, Afghanistan, Venezuela, Libya, and many other countries that have been under the US-led sanctions for decades. That would send a strong message to the entire world that the US dollar could be trusted and would no longer be a foreign policy instrument. So what are your thoughts on Donald Trump's idea to impose 100% tariffs on the BRICS nations? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video helped put things in perspective. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Check out my Substack for additional content. You will find these links in the description below, and I will see you back here soon. Take care.